Good evening, everybody. Everybody who's here live, yay! And everybody who's catching up, also, yay! Fantastic. Um, a few bits I want to get through tonight. Main, the main bit that I really want to get through is the ego. While I've been away on holiday and over the past few weeks, I have been reading uh, these two David Hawkins books, and if they're backwards, one of them says Spiritual Power and Integrity, and the other one says The Evolution of Consciousness. And in the previous few weeks to that, I was reading a couple more, which was Beyond Illusion and The Pathway to Spiritual Advancement. Um, and a couple of things have stood out. Okay, a lot of it I've already talked about because it's written about in his other books. Um, so these four, and there's two more which are as yet unreleased. I have pre-ordered them, or I'm going to pre-order them. Um, are a series of lectures that he did in 2002 or something, and they're just basically transcripts from those talks, and they cover pretty much the same ground as his other books, which are just below me on the screen there. Uh, you can't quite see them. And they cover a lot of the same ground, but they talk about things in different ways because it's conversational. He's talking to an audience, so it's not written in the same way. I find it a bit easier to digest. Um, so I don't know if those books are interesting to you. You may get them as well, but I will talk about the key points that uh, I have noticed, particularly the bits that perhaps I haven't seen before in the other books, or that just aren't really mentioned in the other books. Um, so first thing, so main thing tonight, we're going to talk about ego. I might talk about the message that I sent out into the group earlier, um, as well, which is a lesson from A Course in Miracles, which I've got that here ready just in case I need to refer to that. This hefty tome, um, and there was a couple of other bits which may wait. Let's do this bit first. So can't sleep, okay, tiredness, staying up at night. Now, there may be many reasons for it, but I've written down a few questions to ask yourself. Okay, so what's on my mind? Because when we can't sleep, our brain is going 1,000 miles an hour, as it is at all times. We just don't notice it during the day because we're doing stuff. We're thinking about, okay, what can I do next? What am I doing here? What am I doing there? What's the plan over here? What's the plan from, what's the thing that I'm bothered about from earlier today or from yesterday or from last week? What are my worries? What are my goals, etc., etc. We're thinking about a dozen things all at once, so we don't hear the kind of the underlying hum of thoughts. Okay, and it's when we lie down to go to sleep where we're not so much thinking about what am I going to do next, because the next thing we're going to do is go to sleep. All of these other thoughts start coming up. So this is where I think is meditation is a basically like daytime meditation, whether it be in the morning, the afternoon, or the evening, is preparation for going to bed. Because that gives you an opportunity at not bedtime to allow your mind just to go bleh, okay, it just goes bleh, okay, and that's the ego, okay, which we'll be talking about. So the ego comes out and says bleh, da, 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 da. Okay, as we start switching off the frontal cortex and switching off the brain, the ego mind comes forth and spurts out all of its nonsense. Okay, and that's what we start thinking about bedtime. That's what keeps us awake, or that's what can keep us awake. So we ask ourselves, well, what's on my mind? I'm just going to let it come out. And then from there, we've kind of got a bit of a choice. Okay, we can kind of, the next question is, can I let this go? Can I completely surrender and just go, do you know what? I'm not gonna, I can let this go. I'm going to take a deep breath. There's nothing too complicated about this. I'm going to take a deep breath and I'm going to let it go. Okay, we're not going to put any fancy tapping on here and touching on there or anything like that. Simply, can I let this go? If the answer to that question is no, you move on to the next question. Can I do anything about it? Okay. Can I do anything about it? Okay, at this point, you might need a pen and paper and go, right, okay, yeah, this is what I can do, this is what I can do, this is what I can do, this is what I can do. Okay, these are the things that I could possibly do about this situation. Okay, and then you look at that list and say, can I do anything about it now? Okay, so you look at your list and go, is there anything at 1 o'clock in the morning that I can do about this particular problem right now? Okay, you could send an email, you could send a message, you could make a sketch out a little plan, you could have a little prayer, you could do a little meditation on it. Okay, it might even be come back to stage one. Can I let this go? Okay, or stage two. Can I let this go? But if you can do something about it at that point, I would say do it, even if it is 1 o'clock in the morning, because it's just going to ease that stress on your mind. Okay, even if it means getting up, getting out of bed, going downstairs, doing something for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour, even potentially. Okay, it's going to enable you to go to sleep and actually have restful sleep. So I am not against at all people getting. Oh, this is a complete change of tune. Okay, a couple of years ago, we were like, 8 hours sleep. You must get 8 hours sleep. Da, 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 go to bed at 10, wake up at 6. Da, 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 da. Okay, and if you wake up in the night, something's wrong. Okay, and, okay, I'm kind of beyond that now. It's like, you know what? That's a story. That's a story we tell ourselves about. Oh, I must get 8 hours sleep because the science says so, and and if I don't do that, I'm going to be tired. I'm going to be exhausted. I'm not going to be able to think straight. Da, 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 da. Okay, so I've kind of gone a bit like not anti getting 8 hours sleep because I still think I still get 7 or 8 hours sleep most nights, and enjoy that. So, but it's not a necessity anymore. Okay, for me, it's not like I must be rigid with my times. Okay, I must be going to bed at 10, 10:30 to get up at 6, 6:30 to be able to function throughout my day. I've surrendered that. I have let go of that story. So if I, for some reason, get 4 hours sleep, I do not let that come into me throughout the day. Okay, I don't say to anyone, "Hey, I'm tired. Hey, I had 4 hours sleep last night. Give me a break." Da 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 da, etc. I don't tell the story. I might have the story in my head, but I won't say it out loud. Okay, or at least I'll do my best not to say it out loud. Um, it still might come out every now and again. So don't get hung up on having 7 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours sleep. I must have 7, 8, 9 hours sleep. Um, because again, these things are not true. Okay, we can look. There's there's this. I don't think he's spiritual at all. This guy I'm thinking of. Unfortunately, I don't know his name to kind of go look him up. But I heard of this guy. I think he was Japanese or Chinese or possibly Korean. From Southeast Asia somewhere or Japan. And he basically said one day, "Do you know what? I'm wasting all this time asleep. I'm only going to sleep 3 hours a night or 4 hours a night, whatever it was." And basically, he just stays awake for 20 hours a day and sleeps for four. And he's seemingly a picture of health. Now, maybe he dies in his 50s. I don't know. And he doesn't reach old age. Who knows? But at the moment, this guy seems to be doing very well. And I think this is quite common among very spiritual people, as in like the kind of the gurus and the people who've spent a long time meditating and all that kind of stuff. They don't sleep very long. Okay, they might go days without sleep and be absolutely fine. They might only sleep 2 or 3 hours a day. Um, does that take um, a certain amount of meditation, a certain amount of preparation, a certain amount of training? Yeah, sure. But and these people again live to ripe old ages, so they sleep 2 hours, 3 hours a night for many decades, and they will still get to their 70s, 80s, 90s on 2 or 3 hours sleep a night, and they will not lose their health. They're still vibrant, they're still energetic, they're still able to function in the world on 2, 3, 4 hours sleep. So don't. That's a story that we want to at least come to terms with and go, do you know what? It's okay if I only sleep 6 hours. It's okay if I'm awake at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's okay if I'm awake at 3 o'clock in the morning. Because when we start saying it's not okay to be awake at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, I have to get up at 6, I've got an important meeting tomorrow, and we start stressing about it, A, that's going to keep us awake for longer. Um, and B, that then feeds into the next day, and we're going to have a worse day for it. So just, it's okay. So if I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning after being asleep for 2 or 3 hours, I'm totally okay with it. Whereas before, that would used to annoy me. I'd be like, oh God, I'm awake again. Oh God, I've got to get up in a couple of hours. Da, 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 tell this story. Okay. And in the middle of the night, I'm angry. Yeah. Um, so it's it's something I've started to move past. Maybe it's, I'm just getting a bit older, but maybe it's more of a spiritual thing. But on the other hand, I still am getting 7 to 8 hours sleep. I'm definitely less than I used to be, and I am at least as energetic as I always have been. Perhaps slightly more even. So I try not to worry about how many hours sleep you get and when you're awake, because it only adds to the issue, and it makes you feel guilty, and it makes you feel sad, and it makes you feel tired, um, and possibly angry and frustrated, and all these other kind of emotions. So it just brings you down more. So just go with the it's okay. It's okay if I'm awake at 2. Okay? It's okay if I get 4 hours sleep, 5 hours sleep. It's okay. I can essentially choose tiredness, or I can choose alertness. Okay. So, but focus on the questions. Okay. So there's kind of a spiritual answer, and then there's a more practical answer. Okay. So the practical answer is what's on my mind. Perhaps write it down. Can I let it go? Spiritual bit. Can I do anything about it? Again, write down some things if you want to write it down, if that's your cup of tea. Okay. Can I do anything about it now? Okay. And if you can, get up and do it. Okay. Let me just read a couple of comments here. It's rarely get 8. Yeah, never worried about how many hours sleep I get. It's really 8 hours. Yeah, a couple of years ago, I would have been on your case. It's like, no, 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 you must get 8 hours. Um, yeah, waking in the middle of the night on and off all the time is new. So yeah, okay. So yeah, it's just adjusting. Um, it's so a lot of again. There's a lot of spiritual folk who, and there's kind of a sciencey background to this. Is our melatonin peaks at about 4 o'clock in the morning. So melatonin is linked with the pineal gland. The pineal gland is linked with the third eye. Okay, so our kind of spiritual vision. So there are some the spiritual folks who will kind of specifically say, set your alarm for 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. And that is kind of the ideal time to get up and meditate, because that's when you're going to get the greatest depth of meditation. And then maybe they go back to sleep after that for an hour or two. So they'll wake up, meditate for an hour, half an hour, whatever, and they'll go back to sleep, just because that is peak melatonin time. Um, so maybe see waking up as an opportunity to have a 10-minute meditation while you fall back to sleep. um, uh, maybe there's been a dream. Okay, so again, that might be a case of, do you need to put a little notepad and pen by your bed? It's like, well, if you wake up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning after being asleep for however many hours, oh yeah, I just had a dream. Let me just jot a couple of things down. Okay, because then maybe you keep a dream journal. Okay, I did it for a while because I wanted to kind of remember my dreams more, and uh, I did remember my dreams more when I had pen and paper by the side of my bed. I think I ran out of paper, or the cats scratched it up, or something, and I stopped doing it. But I definitely dreamed more when I had pen and paper at the side of my bed to write down, scribble down at whatever time in the middle of the night. Oh yeah, this is what happened in my dream. Right? Definitely more dreams. Um, did I get any kind of noticeable messages out of them to do a certain thing or to change a certain thing? I couldn't say. Hey, but I think was it last week, the week before, whenever our last session, I talked about dreams a little bit then, because in all of my dreams, like my recent dreams at that point, 2 or 3 weeks ago, a lot of them about running, okay, running away from stuff. So I just noticed that if I'd been writing down my dreams in a dream journal or a dream diary, whatever you want to call it, maybe I would have noticed that pattern a bit sooner. So maybe it's a thing you want to try. Okay, it's you just literally have pen and paper by your bed. Okay, a little diary or whatever. If you wake up in the night, okay, did I have any dreams? What do I remember? Did I have a dream? Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, what do I remember about that dream? Quick couple of notes, put it down, and then go back to sleep. Okay, or go to the toilet, whatever. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's definitely going to be another session. So, okay. So I want to move on to ego. Already touched upon it a little bit tonight. Um, yeah, already touched a little bit on it tonight. So one of the, I suppose, the most interesting thing, I think is probably the most interesting new thing I've got out of the David Hawkins stuff is about the ego and how he treats it. Okay, so the ego is basically the voice in your head. Okay, it's the one that worries, it's the one that gets angry, it's the one that gets sad, it's the one that gets tired. Uh, it's our limited self. It's our kind of human, I suppose, side of us. It's the animal aspect of us. It's all about survival. Okay, it's all about survival. Have I got enough money? Have I got enough food? Have I got shelter? Is this person or is this thing, is this situation dangerous to me? And if it is, I'm going to shout at it. If it is, I'm going to run away from it. And it's those lower level on the map of consciousness. The ego is very much the lower level emotions. Okay, and David Hawkins is like, well, everyone's got one. Okay, you're not going to get rid of it. It's kind of always going to be there, no matter what. Okay, and what he was saying is like treat it as a pet. Okay, so I had a little think about this. Okay, well, I treat it as a pet. I say, well, if it's going to be a pet, what animal is it? And I just asked myself, what animal is it? So I want you to do this. What animal is my ego? Hey, mine came out as a mountain lion. Okay, it's a kind of a fierce cat, um, like a puma. A medium-sized large cat. I don't know. It's a pretty large cat is a mountain lion. Hey, but it's not like tiger or lion sized, but it's large. Hey, and your kind of animalistic side, your fear, your anger, your frustrations, your sadness, uh, the things that you do to protect yourself will inevitably come out. And one of the things was to just go, ah, when it does, and when you recognize that it does, that's just my ego. That's just my animal side coming out. And you might want to name your ego as well. Maybe your pet has a name. So I've got, the real life George and Jasper, black and white cat. But has my mountain lion got a name? And I think I did have a name for it, but it's skipped my mind at this point in time. But my mountain lion did have a name. It does have a name, and by kind of making it not, I mean, not soft and fluffy, because again, it's a mountain lion. It's got big sharp teeth, and it will bite your face off. Okay, um, given the opportunity, it's quite interesting to think about. It's like, oh, it's a mountain lion. Okay, well, what's my main kind of lower level emotion? Well, my main lower level emotion is anger. Okay, and frustration. Okay, so my ego animal is a ferocious kind of creature. Maybe yours is not. Maybe yours is more. Maybe it's more of a fear-based animal. So it's a, I don't know, a squirrel or a rabbit or something like a prey animal or something like along those lines. Okay, so maybe fear is more the animal you associate with, or like a small prey animal. Who knows? Okay, maybe you've got a couple. Okay, so sometimes I've got a mountain lion and sometimes I've got a rabbit. It could be both. So make it your pet. Um, and we want to thank our pet, okay? Because our pet is just here to look after us. Okay, so that mountain lion, the anger the mountain lion has, the ego has, is just here to protect us from some perceived danger. It's a false perception, but a perceived danger nonetheless. perceived danger of rejection, perceived danger. It could be a real danger. It could be, someone trying to attack you or something. Okay, it could be, it could be a real danger. Um, but more than likely, and in most people's cases, as we go about our day-to-day lives, these kind of real dangers are pretty rare. Okay, um, they do happen, but they are pretty rare. So we want to make it a pet, and by making it a pet, and by taming it, okay, giving it a bit of a carrot and saying saying thank you for protecting me for all of these years. Thank you for looking after me in all of these difficult situations. Um, we can stop it from biting. We can stop it from making us run away. We can stop it from. We can put that gap between event and reaction in there, and instead of event reaction straight away, we have event pause response. Okay, and it becomes more of a choice rather than a just a split second. Oh, this happens. Ugh. Okay, whatever it is. Okay, it's event happens. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. It's that 1 or 2 second pause. Okay, and you could go right. Ego is just going to take a little step back here. Okay, I'm going to keep you on the leash. Okay, you're still here, ego, but you're on a leash. You got a muzzle on. Um, if I still feel the need to unmuzzle you, I will. Okay, but then it becomes a an actual choice rather than just a split second reaction. Okay, um, and then the next bit I've put down, it's the guilt of the reaction that keeps us returning to them. Okay, so that's the other thing. So the things that keep repeating in our lives, the angers, the fears, the whatever it is. Okay, there's the same, not necessarily the same people, but the same type of people who keep returning. Again, it could be the angry people, the aggressive people, the um, mean people, the whoever it is. They keep showing up um, because we're in this life to deal with that person. Okay, to deal with that and to change our response. Okay, and to not experience fear when this type of person or this type of event shows up in our lives. Um, and it's to be able to go, oh no, actually, I'm here dealing with that, and that's fine. Okay, and that's our thing to heal, as it were. Okay, and he tells a funny story. Okay, um, he grew up in like the 1920s, 1930s in like a very Christian background, and to even to say the word hell was kind of blasphemous in his house, and it wouldn't have been taken very nicely. So he basically never really swore in his life, and kind of despite being in World War II, and he was obviously around a lot of other soldiers, and he was in the Navy on a minesweeper. I remember all these things without writing this stuff down. And he said it was like the first time he really swore at somebody. He called it flipping the bird, obviously his middle finger at someone. And he said he quite enjoyed it. So what he did is he recognized what we're getting out of our responses is some kind of enjoyment. And this is something I've touched upon in the past, but again, quite a while ago, I haven't talked about it much. Is the things that show up in our life. Again, the anger, the person that causes us anger, the situation that causes us anger, or sadness, or fear, or whatever. That's showing up in our life because, on an unconscious level, we're choosing for it to happen. It's a subconscious belief, it's a pattern, it's a subconscious choice of, I want this. So, one of the big things that we can do is to accept, okay, an acceptance, and accept that I want this, whatever this is in that particular day or in that particular situation. Again, on a conscious level, on a day-to-day conversational level, talking with people, nobody wants pain. Nobody wants difficult people in their life. Nobody wants to be shouted at. Nobody wants to be told off. Nobody wants to be told they're worthless or whatever else. Hey, nobody. consciously wants that. On an unconscious, subconscious level, on a soul level, perhaps, um, it's almost our purpose to overcome these things. So, to the soul, it wants that. So we can speak to our soul and kind of admit the truth. Okay, so my soul wants these situations because they wouldn't happen if my soul didn't want them. Because consciously I don't want them. It's obvious I don't bloody want them. They're difficult. They're hard. They're causing me strife. They're causing me pain. They're causing me anger. They're causing me everything. Okay, or it seems like they're causing me everything. But on a soul level, my soul is choosing for that to happen. My soul is choosing for this life. Okay, this hairstyle is this body shape, this body size. I want to be slow. I want to be injured. I want to be in pain. I want to be suffering. I want to be struggling. I want to be uh, angry. I want to be sad. I want to be full of shame and guilt and grief. I want all these things somehow, some reason. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. Okay. We don't need to understand why. We don't need to look back through our lives and pick everything apart. Okay. We don't need to go, oh, okay, yeah, it happened when I was two. This thing happened when I was 3 or 5 or 10 or whatever it is. And that's the ultimate cause of my anger, or that's the ultimate cause of my sadness. Um, we don't want to go through all our lives going through that. Again, we'd be picking our way through things forever if we were to do that and go through every single daily event and going, oh yeah, this. Okay, if I could just look at today, there's probably 5 things to look at from today. And I don't know how many thousands of days I've lived. If I had to go through 5 things minimum um, every day of things I didn't like, things I didn't want, things I didn't do, things I should have said differently, things I should have done differently. It's going to take me forever. It's going to take even more than a lifetime to to go back through and kind of try and pick through every single event. So it kind of we don't want to do that. So that's why we just generally go at the emotion itself. Okay, so if I go at the emotion itself, it's all right. I'm just going to go at anger. I'm just going to go at fear or frustration. Okay, it doesn't have to be map of consciousness emotions. Map of consciousness emotions are kind of the headline acts. Okay, so um, with fear, so there's anxiety, there's terrified, there's mildly worried. There's all different grades of fear. So we go at fear because fear covers, 50 different other words. Okay. And we go at anger because anger goes at 50 different other words related to anger. So that's why it's just like pick anger. Okay. Pick grief, pick shame, pick guilt, pick uh, uh, the pride, pick any one of them. Okay. Because each one of those takes out 10, 15, 20 other words that you might have used to explain your life in some way, shape, or form. Okay, in some way that it's not going the way you would like it to, or the way you would prefer it to. Again, on a conscious level, soul wants sucky. The soul wants back pain. The soul wants to wake you up at 2 o'clock in the morning to tell you something. Um, the soul wants you to be tired. It's pushing you in different ways, and we don't know why. Because we, as a conscious human being, are not privy to the information. Okay, what's the? Again, I don't know how accurate this statistic is. We're only privy to something like 1 billionth of the information that is available at any one time. Okay, that's nothing. 1 billionth is you might as well say zero. Um, that's how much information we are capable of processing at any one point. There's a billion bits of things going on. I can only perceive one. What about the other 999,999,999 things that are going on? There's um, there's just too much. Okay, so however I feel is only one bit of a billion bits of information. So we have no idea why we feel that way. And our job is to let it go. Our job is to notice, accept, I want this, I must be choosing this somehow, and we let it go. Okay. And that's really something I want to just do a little bit of tonight. We'll do a short treatment. It's basically very, very simple. Very, very simple. Um, so incredibly simple. It's done. Okay. Um, and then the very final thing I want to talk about, very final thing, before going on to a short treatment, is muscle testing. And so obviously we've talked about muscle testing for a while. And one of the things he covers in these new books, or obviously old stuff, but new books, um, is he muscle tests and calibrates on the levels of consciousness where he doesn't do very many, but it where certain words and phrases are, okay, on the level of consciousness. And one of the things, if you've read enough spiritual books and seen enough spiritual kind of stuff on Facebook and Instagram, wherever, you might have seen Om, okay, and you might have seen Om, okay, so AUM versus, oh sorry, OM, Om versus Om, AUM, and he calibrates those on the levels of consciousness. And I can't remember exactly where uh, both of them are, but OM, calibrates very, very highly. It's in the 700s, and 700s is like outstanding. So if you just sat and meditated and went Om, okay, however you might do it, that's going to help raise your level of consciousness quite significantly. If you were to do Om, he calibrated. I know I checked it out myself, and I'm not sure if it's exactly the same as what he's put. I calibrated it at 200. Okay, so 200 is on the positive side, but it's not really going to take you very far. I think if memory serves, he calibrated it around 300 or so. So it's okay, but it's not as good as OM. And hang on, let's just I'm just going to recheck it. So I'm going to 200, 250, 260, 270, 280. I've got it at 280. Sorry. So AUM, I've got it calibrated at 280. I can't remember exactly what he put. So that just kind of interested me a little bit. I was like, okay, well, according to me and my muscle testing and where I am on the levels of consciousness, which who knows, um, I thought, well, we've got some other very simple phrases that we could go and check. They don't have to be long, elaborate affirmations or anything like that. So I chose, I love you, thank you, I bless you, and I forgive myself. Okay, so I love you came out at 520, which makes sense. That's in the level of love. Okay, slap bang in the middle of the level of love. Okay, love is between 500 and 540. I love you 520. That's going to take you a long way. Thank you, calibrated at 540. That's on the level of just kind of on the border between love and joy. Okay, so thank you. The gratitude is about there. Gratitude is 540. That's the level of bliss. Okay, bless you was at 570. Again, these are my own personal calibrations. I've not read or seen anyone else do this anywhere else. But again, maybe other people are doing it. Who knows? Okay, I bless you, 570. Okay, and that's something I've been personally using um, for the past week or two, and that's been quite fun. And then I forgive myself, calibrated at 720. 720 is huge. Okay, the 720 is about the same as Om. Um, so I forgive myself because you don't know what you don't know, basically. So you don't know the other 999,999,999 things that are going on. You know one. Okay, so out of the billion things that are going on, you know one. I forgive myself for focusing on the one, for not understanding anything else. I forgive myself because at that point in time, I got angry. So, but I was focused on one thing and not all of the others. I have no idea what's going on in the universe. Okay, I have no idea. Maybe that anger was there on purpose. Okay, maybe that anger was there to direct me to doing something else. maybe that sadness was there to make me read something. Maybe that anger or sadness or grief was there to make me watch a video, which helps me understand myself better. Maybe it was there to help me do a course or to do certain things. Okay, so maybe our negative emotions, our ego is there, and it's those things are actually directing us. Okay, so I forgive myself because I didn't realize it was just the sat nav giving me a new direction. I didn't realize it was my mountain lion actually protecting me. So thank you, mountain lion. Thank you, ego, for protecting me. Thank you, ego, for doing the right thing. Hey, I forgive myself. Maybe I shouldn't have reacted in that way. Hey, maybe I shouldn't have, I should have kept that mountain lion on the leash, but it's made me realize that the mountain lion is there and is in control, or was in control for that moment in time. I forgive myself. Okay. So that's why I think I forgive myself is way up there. Okay. I was actually very surprised when I was going through calibrating these things, muscle testing them, and going, okay, well, where is it? Um, I was like, okay, it's above 500, above 600. I was like, oh, it's above 600. 600's again is an amazing kind of level of truth. And then it got to 700. I was like, well, where's this going? Okay. And it got to 720. I was like, okay, cool. Wow, 720 is amazing. Okay, I forgive myself. How easy is it to say I forgive myself? How easy is it to say I love you? How easy is it to say I thank you? And how easy is it to say bless you? Okay. And again, I think that's a story for another day. I'm gonna have to make some notes uh, on what I'm going to talk about next week. Okay. Bless you. Um, because that's I've just been talking away for 40 odd minutes here, and that's getting a bit long. Um, yes, and I am going to show this. I did a little diagram before I jumped on, before we hit record. This one. So those that are here, can you just pop in the chat box that you can see basically a screen with, yeah, cool. It looks like you're both here. That's nice, nice. Super. All right. So the lines essentially represent death, and the circles represent life. Okay, so this is you. You are somewhere on this line. Okay, there are an infinite number of circles and lines going backwards through time, and there are another infinite number of lines and circles going forwards through time, and you are in currently one of these circles. This is how consciousness works. Okay, this kind of again came to me in a bit of a, I don't know, I suppose a bit of a vision. Very simple things. Um, what I find it interesting here is that circle, the life, this is purgatory. Okay, we are in purgatory right now. Life is purgatory, and death is heaven. Death is heaven. Okay, and we can make heaven or hell of purgatory. Okay, and that's basically our choice. Um, how it's basically how do we perceive things? How do I perceive that 1 billionth of information? Do I perceive that 1 billionth of information every, nanosecond? Am I seeing that generally as a positive or generally as a negative? Hey, and where I am, essentially where I am on the levels of consciousness, will either put me in heaven within purgatory, or it will put me in hell within purgatory. There is no hell on this thing. It's perception. Okay, there is either heaven or perception of heaven and hell within life. So this is where it's like, well, this is particularly for me is important when it comes to death. Hey, when the circle, we get to the end of the circle, because at some point, and it may be a couple of days, it may be a number of human years, it could be any kind of stretch of time. So this line in between circles could be, hours up to who knows how long. Okay, decades. I don't know. And basically, we just want to make the most of the circle. We want to make the most of the circle and make it fun and enjoyable as much as we can because this is purgatory. This is most of the time we're not alive. Most of the time we're not alive. This is a short trip, okay? But like this particular lifetime is a short trip. So enjoy it as best we can, and know that you'll be back. And if we raise our level of consciousness now and we do good things and we live happy lives, maybe we'll come back with something that's slightly better or something where we can raise our consciousness even higher next time. Uh, there's a Hindu word called the Bodhisattva. Basically, it's someone who's achieved enlightenment who chooses to return time and time again to help more and more people to achieve enlightenment. Um, because the theory goes, okay, and I've not tested this because, as far as I'm aware, I don't have any recollection of any previous lives or anything like that. But apparently, some people do. Um, what happens when you achieve enlightenment, when you achieve kind of Buddhahood, is you have the choice to essentially, if I stop coming back. Um, when you achieve Buddhahood, you have the opportunity to stop coming back and go, yep, cool. I'm done. I'm done with Earth school. I'm done with purgatory on Earth. I don't need to do that anymore. I'm going to go and just be a consciousness floating around doing whatever consciousness does outside of a human body. I don't know. Um, but then there's this Bodhisattva person, okay, who has achieved kind of great levels of enlightenment. Okay, so like up, if we're talking map of consciousness, kind of 700, 800 plus. Okay, they don't need to come back. They've done their job. Okay, but they choose to keep returning and help other people achieve Buddhahood or enlightenment or however you want to call it. Essentially, for me, it's the same thing. So that was there again. So many things, so many things. Sorry, I think I've talked about because I've had a week off and I've had a lot of reading. There's just a lot that needed to come out. So my apologies. It's a very long, sprawling talk, but a lot of truth going on in there. I just want to ask those here live, how have you felt about today's session? What have you noticed? What's been, how does your body feel? Um, I just need to try and close this whiteboard while I'm waiting for responses. How do I do that? Again, thank you, Zoom, for changing everything all of the time. Ah, there it is. There we go, back in the room. And then after maybe a response or two, go on to a little short treatment. It will be brief. Okay. Oh, yeah. I thought there was some new stuff in there. To me, it felt like new. To me, maybe I just, as I've said, this I have said before, is whenever you read a book for a second time, yeah, whenever you read a book for a second time, even though it's the same words, you're a different person who's reading it, so you will see different things. So perhaps that's what's happened for me. I'm reading very similar things, and I'm just seeing it differently because I'm different now. I'm not the same person. Yeah, cool, cool, cool. So this will be short, okay? Just a few minutes. So if you haven't quite already, pretty sure you are. So just find yourself a little place to sit down or lie down and get comfy. Take a few breaths. Okay, I'm going to stay silent for a little bit, but what I want you to do is just allow your mind, allow the ego to just go. Put it on send. Whatever is on your mind, let it come forwards. Whoever's annoyed you, whoever's got under your skin, whatever's making you feel sad or scared or worried, whatever guilts you might have felt or shames, The things you're avoiding doing, you know you really should be getting on with. Anything along those lines, bring them up, allow them to come forward. And whatever comes, comes. Don't try and make one more important than the other. And what's also important is allow yourself to feel. Allow yourself to let the anger come up, this fear come up, the sadness come up, the frustration, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't matter. Allow it to show itself. And wherever it's showing up in your body, it's okay wherever it is. Okay, so there's more than likely some kind of sensation you're noticing in your body. Whether it's your chest or your tummy, your throat, your brain, your little toe, doesn't matter. And just let that feeling expand. Let it grow and grow and grow. We don't want to force it away. We want to let it out. So let your mind run. Let the emotion rise up and expand and grow and feel it as maximally as you can. Take a really deep breath all the way in. Feel your tummy, feel your lungs all the way up. And on the way out, you're going to say, I let this go. I surrender this. If you want to tap, you can tap either your head or your chest. Okay, you can tap if you like. Okay, but I'm keeping this super simple. Just keep noticing the feeling. Take another deep breath. I'm letting this go. Okay, there's nothing more we need to do. All these years I've been looking for some kind of fancy technique, some kind of special knowledge. And all, it boils down to letting go. Boils down to forgiving ourselves. Okay, so take another deep breath. Okay, this one's I forgive myself. So as you let it out, I forgive myself. Do one for luck on that. Really deep breath in. I forgive myself. Okay, just come back to your ego. Come back to your mind. Come back to your thoughts. If you return to one or two of the thoughts that came through your mind the first time round, Do you feel like they're different? Do you feel like they have lost their power? Do you feel like you've let them go? Okay. And as you go about your day, and it's just a case of noticing what am I feeling in my body? I'm feeling something in my body. Deep breath. I let this go. And you have a thought about menopause. You have a thought about back pain. You have a thought about knee pain. You have a thought about being left out. You have a thought about being scared. Take a deep breath. Maybe a few, maybe five, maybe 10. And on each exhale, I'm letting this go. Maybe there's something you need to do, but more than likely there is not something you need to do. Aside from let it go. And if there are other people involved, other relationships involved, thank them, bless them. More on blessing next week, but probably a shorter one. And if anything new's come up into your mind, something's annoyed you, something's crept in, I let this go. Deep breath. I'm letting this go. And feel free to open your eyes and just notice again. Go back to those two, three, four, five, 10 thoughts that crept into your mind when we just went quiet for a moment. How are they? How are they feeling right now? Do they feel easier to deal with? Do they feel easier to make a different decision on? Does the any people involved in those thoughts do they feel lighter? They say lightness is a great feeling. Okay, so just got feeling lighter and a smile is coming on my face. Amazing. Okay. 10 years of learning to learn that. And the crazy thing is I learned that 5 years ago, but I don't think I took it seriously enough. Okay. Um, 10 years of learning to learn that. Um, I mean, it reminds me of the story of the kind of the super yacht owners, okay, and or the giant ship builders, and they've got their ship and it's in the docks and it's broken, and they call an engineer and they get him to try and fix it, and they pay him £1,000, and it's like, and the engineer at the end of the day goes, do you know what, I can't, it's still broken. I don't know what to do. And they call in another engineer. They pay this next engineer £1,000. The engineer goes, spends all day looking at it or all week looking at it. Goes, no, it's still broken. Call in another engineer, same thing. Okay, another £1,000. It's still not working. And then they call in this other guy, and this guy he costs 10 grand. And he comes in, spends 5 minutes looking at the ship, and he just donks with a hammer. The ship's working, and they go, um, I'm not paying you £10,000 for, you were only here for 5 minutes. It's like £5 for um, hitting it with a hammer, 900, what was it, £9,000, whatever it is, for knowing where to hit it. It's all those years of experience for something so simple. It's a funny story, um, and there's probably others that are similar. Um, so yeah, I like that story. So um, that's yes, so true in any role. Absolutely right. There's this advert I see on Facebook about, it's a marketing advert. It's about this guy's trying to sell his courses basically, but he tells a similar story. about logo design, and he's having this chat with an audience member on his course. And again, similar thing. Um, he was like, "Well, how much would you pay someone to design a logo for you?" And they were talking big money, like 10, 15, $20,000 or whatever it is. And he was like, "Well, here's basically, there's one consultancy company. It's like it's going to take them 3 months to come up with this design. Okay, yeah, 20 grand. Okay, amazing. Hey, that's a bargain. And then there's this other kind of person who basically like, yeah, I'll do it in 5 minutes. Hey, so in 5 minutes, this company has a logo, and he goes, well, I'm not paying 20 grand for that 5 minutes work. So were you kidding me? It's worth a few $100 at most. It's like, yeah, but you got the result in much less time. Surely it's worth even more than 3 months worth of work. Um, this is what the coach was saying. Uh, so surely people are paying for speed and ease, right? Not time and effort. So again, this is a very human condition. We prize things taking a long time. We prize things that are hard and take years. Hey, but we should equally prize, in fact, probably prize even more things that are easy and really quick. If something's easy and really quick, we should like, yeah, I want that. I want my life to be really easy. Okay, I want it to be really, really simple. I don't want it to be a struggle. Fuck that. Okay, it was what am I struggling if I can have it easy? Hey, I would pay double for easy. Uh, since we're insane. Okay, we're paying more for longer often. Purely because of the time it takes people. So we're just spending a lot more for a lot more effort and time. Whereas what we should really do is go for the fastest and easiest option. Um, in a lot of cases, okay, that actually works, that actually solves the problem, that actually delivers the result. Obviously, fast and that doesn't deliver the result, well, that's worthless. Um, but it's just as worthless as long and doesn't get the result. Anyway, digressing. So I will stop there and get this recording out to you possibly tonight. I don't know how I'm feeling about it, but yes, a lot of people do that. A lot of too much time spent thinking. I'm guilty of this as well. Too much time spent thinking and not enough time doing. Absolutely. Yeah. Uh, I think the first coaching course I was ever involved in, where I kind of paid for a course, um, one of the things that was said, and we're talking 10, 11 years ago here, was if you think about doing something more than once, you should have done it the first time. And how many times have we sat there thinking the same thing 100 times, and we still haven't done it, um, or we still haven't started, or we've started and just not really completed it. Um, yeah, so you should have, if you think about something more than once, you should have done it the first time. Um, so if you think about something, you should probably just do it. And it'll probably save you a lot of time, grief, stress, and effort just by doing it the first time you think about it. Okay, anyway, that's enough for that. Good night, and I'll see you again probably same time next week. Cheerio.